Hello, I'm Robert Ashley, and welcome to the Mighty Media TV News Wrap-Up. And we thank you once again for being with us. Our top story, of course, is the death of Jayland Walker, a 25-year-old young African-American man out of Akron, Ohio. If you hadn't heard, the autopsy reports were released this week. Now, reports were indicating this young man was involved in a police chase involving Akron, Ohio police. He refused to stop. Now, they claim he fired a shot, but that's a very, very questionable situation. And then, after the shooting, a gun was found in the car, had not been fired. So there's a possibility that Jayland Walker, 25 years old, was unarmed when police fired well over 90 rounds. And according to the autopsy report, at least 46 of those bullets literally hit this young man, shooting and killing him. Meanwhile, a member of the city council there in Akron, Ohio, says that they want dash cameras to be put back into the police vehicles following the controversial shooting death of Jayland Walker. Keep in mind now, Jayland was only 25 years old. His girlfriend had recently died, and there were some who were wondering if indeed he was depressed and whether or not this was suicide by cop, but he had no charges, had never been in trouble with the law. But the Akron, Ohio City Councilwoman by the name of Tasha Mosley says that she is asking that legislation from the city of Akron, Ohio to buy cameras and install those cameras into the police cars so that after these type of controversial shootings, there would be no questions. Now, Councilwoman Mosley also says that without these dash cameras, there will continue to be questions about the shooting death of young black men here in the United States of America. Well, we also want to ask you to be prayerful for the Trump family, the controversial former President Donald Trump. Believe it or not, we're continuing to be prayerful for anyone who loses a loved one. But the New York Medical Examiner's Office is saying that Ivana Trump reportedly died, her death, an accident. Reports are indicating that the first wife of the former President of the United States passed away after blunt force injuries. Reports are indicating that she was found at the bottom of a staircase in her upper New York apartment. Of course, she, was the mother of three of Donald Trump's children, Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump, and Ivanka Trump. And once again, we here at Mighty Media continue to express our condolences. A couple other stories that we're keeping an eye on for you here on the Mighty Media TV News Wrap-Up. I'm Robert Ashley, and once again, we continue to thank you for being with us. Now, a federal grand jury is indicting the alleged supermarket shooter there in Buffalo, New York. Now, Patron Gendron will be charged with 14 hate crime violations and 13 firearm offenses connected to that mass shooting at the Tops grocery store back in May. Now, this 19-year-old white supremacist, from what we understand, used a rifle to shoot and kill at least 10 black folks, and 3 others were injured. Now, the Attorney General for the Biden administration, Merrick Garland, announced the indictment and said that the Justice Department recognizes the threat that white supremacist violence poses, particularly to black people, but all of the American people. Now, with these charges, we understand that Peyton Gendron, 19 years old, the white supremacist, reportedly will have a maximum of life in prison or possibly the death penalty if indeed he's convicted. Meanwhile, a man convicted in connection with the death of the great civil rights leader Malcolm X is suing New York City. Now, Muhammad Aziz was exonerated just last year, and his lawyers filed a lawsuit because they could not reach a settlement with the city of New York. Now, Muhammad Aziz is seeking $40 million, and Aziz and Khalil Islam were convicted of murdering Malcolm X and spent decades in prison, but of course their convictions were recently overturned, and Islam died in prison back in 2009. Well, you've been listening to the Mighty Media TV Network News, and of course right here, I'm Robert Ashley. We continue to encourage you to watch the Mighty Media TV Network. We've got lots of news, entertainment, and great information for you. I'm Robert Ashley. We thank you once again for being with us right here on the Mighty Media TV Network.